reason to, like, they're okay with that, but if your peers are giving a speech, they're more like, the whole purpose of the class is for you to become like a better speaker, because I'm in CIS 112, so we're like the accelerated level. And so the part of it is that they want you to be a better speaker, and in order to do that, you have to have an engaged audience, so that's why I think that they're like, put up your technology, but in class it's more of a discussion atmosphere, so that you can have your notes out and discuss with the professor.
Gotcha. Thanks, y'all. I love hearing all this great variety of perspectives. So your instructor, we talked about some instances where they may have a policy. Did they talk about that policy? Some of you mentioned it's implicit, it's explicit, they state it. Is it in the syllabus? Is it talked about at a certain time in the semester? You already mentioned it, they remind you of it before speeches. Are there other times where that comes up, their policy?
I think my professor talked about it briefly in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
He doesn't really bring it up or anything except before like speeches. He tells you to put everything away.
Okay. So at the beginning and then before speeches. Would I have a similar experience?
I can't remember if I brought it up in the beginning or not.
Can't recall, but it hasn't come up a lot.
I can't in our class, other than like she says it before speeches.
Gotcha.
It's really explicit, but most of the time I don't think she ever really cares.
I'll have to relook at the syllabus to see if it's in there.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
All right.
But she does like go over it before speeches.
Gotcha. You gonna say something, Sarah?
Oh, no, I was just...
Oh. No worries. Yeah, that's fine. So does your instructor, maybe they have a policy, maybe they don't. If they do they enforce that policy?
I think mine does. Like, because I've noticed if somebody, like, I sit like right in front of the professor, and so if my phone is out, she'll kind of give a general reminder to everybody, like, go to your phone. And so, yeah, I'd fish.
Mine has something in the syllabus, but it only really ever comes up if she can tell if someone isn't paying attention. Like if someone's camera noise goes off, she's like, put that away.
Okay. Other instances of your instructor, do they enforce their policy?
I don't really know if we've like had any problems, so I haven't really seen her.
I don't think we've ever had a problem with it to where we've had to have it enforced.
So people have them out, but it's not considered a problem since technology is present.
People don't tend to have them out, or like if they have anything out, it's their computers during like her talking. It's not like it's never been during a speech or during a time that it would be.
Yeah, usually everyone
like explicitly like something she doesn't want.
And like the speech starts, like everyone like puts, like you can hear everyone put away their computers and like put their phones away. And, like I don't think we've had a problem in our class.
Okay, cool.
Good change. But
Yeah. Any other instances of enforcement?
I think the only maybe instance I remember is like if even though it's not a policy stated in the syllabus, like my professor tends to walk around the room, so people like have their computers out but are obviously not looking at something pertaining to the class, then she'll make the reminder like if you're not doing what you're supposed to, like put it away.
Okay. It's a lot of indirect reminding, right? Kind of passive enforcement. Like, not calling out anyone in particular. Okay. Does your instructor, do they justify their technology policy? Do they essentially say, here's why if our technology is, and you mentioned some of this about being an audience member during speeches, do they have other justifications for, you shouldn't be on your technology for this reason? So, right, we can have rules like, these are the rules, just abide by them, or it can be like, here's why you should abide by this rule. Anybody justify their technology policy?
It's not that she doesn't go over it, it's that she believes it's implied. I don't think she's ever had to go and explain.
Gotcha.
But if it was an issue, she would.
Okay. Gotcha, thanks.
I think our instructor is like before, like I feel like the first time we started speeches and she told us to put away like our phones, she did say like it's rude to have your things and you're going to be up there at some point, so you wouldn't want other people on their phones while you're giving your speech. So like just kind of like put yourself in their shoes.
Other justifications of the tech policy? Yeah, I know it's hard, but here's why you should not have technology out at X time or ever. Or
I feel like it doesn't really need to be justified, especially like in a college classroom, because you're paying for this class. Like you should be motivated to not just like sit on your phone the whole time. Where like in a high school classroom, teachers had to say that over and over again. Like, you know, you want to get off your phone so you're learning this, but like you're paying for this class. You definitely want to get the most out of it. So I don't think it needs as much justification from the professor.
Okay, thanks. Any other thoughts on that? So that gets into the next question a little bit, is why do you believe your instructor has the tech policy that they do? And we've covered this somewhat, so we don't have to spend a ton of time here. But maybe they have a stated reason, but are there ulterior motives? Are there reasons you suspect they have against technology? I just did in another focus group saying that their instructor didn't want them recording his or herself, and that was part of the justification. Others, anything you've heard about or suspected about why your instructor might have their tech policy that they do?
No, just basically so you pay attention.
Okay, gotcha. So I want you to think about the period before, moving away from policy, just the period before class starts. So class hasn't begun yet, the lecture hasn't started, the discussion hasn't started in time for class to start. How are you and others using or not using technology during that period? What's the classroom look like in the pre-class period before CS, whatever starts?
People are listening to music with their headphones.
People are listening to music, okay, with headphones then?
Mhm.
Okay.
Same here, but I feel like half of our class, when we all come in, we engage with our instructor before, so we'll just ask which of those days were plans after class. Everyone, as time goes on, they're more communicative.
Okay. What about the other half?
It's nothing ever rude. They just keep it to themselves, and once class time starts, they
Our instructor actually plays like music for us as we come in, and so then like all of us come in and we sign in and we talk to him, and it's like we all talk about the music choices and stuff, and we really just like we have like nice little conversations, and then people will sit down and get out their laptops and stuff, and we'll just pull up the notes for class and Canvas and stuff. So it's basically like we just have a little conversation about the music that he plays on PowerPoint and stuff like that. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
My instructor comes from like all the way across campus, so usually it's like just us in the classroom. I feel like it's like the first 4 people kind of set the mood. Like if everyone's on their phones when I walk in, like it's quiet. But if the first 4 people come and talk to each other, like it builds.
Okay. Interesting.
I feel like in ours, like our CIS class is connected to our living learning program, so everyone in my class lives in the same building, so we all know each other, so ours tends to be more like a conversation before class starts, and we all talk to each other because we all live on the same floor of the same building.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm interested in this concept of like whatever the first 4 people do. Does that seem to play out in anybody else's classes? Like,
Usually in my class, it's like the right side of the half of the room. Like we'll walk in, come in, people start talking. Like first, like 2-3 people that come in, they're usually talking. So if they're talking, I'll join the conversation. And then a lot of people come in late anyway. It's a 9 o'clock class. People walk in like 5-10 minutes late. So especially, it's mostly people on the left side of the half of the room too. So they'll just come in, trickle in, and they'll just get on their phone.
okay. Other instances, when you sit down at a row, does what the other person's doing with or not with technology, do you affect whether or not you speak with them?
Yeah.
Here's some examples.
So I'm normally like one of the first people in the classroom, and so I've noticed like if I walk in, I don't have a need to do anything on my phone. Like I'll just talk to my professor. Like other people start to do that, but then like if there's something on Canvas I need to check on my phone real quick, and I'm doing stuff, like nobody talks.
I feel like we've seen it progress like throughout the semester. So like the first few weeks when everyone would just come in and get on their phone because nobody knew each other, that was like the first person would do that, and then everyone would do that. But once like a small group started getting comfortable with each other, then everyone started getting comfortable and talking.
I remember like the first day we all came in, it was dead silent because she was not, like our instructor, like I love her so much, but she was like on her computer, like she wasn't looking at anyone. She looked so scary, and like we were all like dead silent. We all like everyone was like either talking, and then they came in, and then they were like.
The only day I made it actually early to that class.
Our professor is another person that really controls the room in that instance. Like she might be on her phone checking emails or something, but if she starts conversations, then everyone else joins in.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else have similar experiences where what your instructor is doing seems to set the mood?
It's probably like a mixture of like students and instructor.
So, the impression I get from you guys, you walk in on the person in the row next to you, maybe they're not like a best buddy, they're an acquaintance.